It's Tuesday, the 15th of November 2016, and today is the first day of the third week of National Novel Writing Month. So, how's it going? Is your story good? Are your plants growing nicely in your garden? Because the thing is, in the day of the Triffids, strange alien plants started to grow on the planet. Plants which could kill. Plants which seemed to talk to each other. And then there was the meteorite show, which burned out the optic nerves of anyone who saw it, leaving them blind. All this was a recipe for disaster. And a brilliant story. The same is true of week 3. You've come through the hard week 2. And now you should have a sizable chunk of your novel written. Now things can get easier. Your story should be getting exciting. Your words are hopefully flowing. But watch out for that Triffid around the corner waiting to sting you so your story dies. Here are some tips for you to get through the exciting but dangerous third week of National Novel Writing Month. Tip 1. Bill Mason, the main character of Day of the Triffids, was lucky as a child. He survived a Triffid attack. So what does he do? Live his life and never go near another Triffid again? No, he gets a job on a Triffid farm, which is rather silly. And then he gets stung again. Also silly. Now, ignoring the fact that him being attacked is what ultimately saved him, and looking instead at him running towards danger, we can learn a vital lesson for getting our first drafts completed. What is one of the worst dangers a writer doing National Novel Writing Month can fall into? Editing. Editing your story will affect your flow. Don't do it. Don't even look back at what you've written, because if you do, there's a chance you'll start getting paranoid about each word you've chosen and how you form your sentences and loads of other things too. And then your desire to edit what you've already written is going to grow stronger and your story could die. Don't let that Triffid get your story. Tip 2. Bill, having been attacked by a Triffid, his eyes bandaged, missed the natural light show caused by a meteorite. Others in the hospital, patients, nurses, the doctor who was treating him, got to enjoy it. In the morning, they were all blind. Bill's eyes, though, protected by his bandages, were fine. He wasn't blind. Nearly everyone else was helpless and prime targets for the escaped Triffids. So, what about doing the same with your story? No, don't add ravenous plants. Although, you could if you wanted. But make bad things happen to your characters. Basically, write what you know. Yep, you've heard me right. Write what you know. We've all had bad things happen to us. That's life. But how do you react to those bad things? Do you curl up and die? Or do you fight? The same is true of your characters. Throw bad things at them and then write about how they get themselves out of their situation. It will be fun. Tip 3. Bill wasn't blind. And the girl he rescued, Jo, wasn't either. But loads were. So Bill and Jo reached a place of safety, a building where other people who could see were staying, along with some blind people, with plans to move out into the country and leave those blind people wandering around London to fend for themselves. But some didn't agree with that and set a fire and took quite a few of them, including Bill, back into London, where they would be the eyes of teams of blind people so that they could be fed. Handcuffed to each other, Bill had no choice but to help them. It was either help them or they would all die. The same is true of your story. You can either write it or it will die. And a brilliant site to use for that is Write or Die. You type and keep typing, because if you don't keep typing, Write or Die will eat your words, which isn't fun at all. Believe me, it's not. Although, I must admit, I actually quite like using it. Maybe I'm a bit masochistic. But the thing is, Write or Die will help you to avoid that Triffid. Tip 4. Bill escaped being eaten by a Triffid. He found a young girl and managed to eventually find Joe at a farm. And then the story jumps 6 years into the future, when another character turns up in a helicopter, willing to take them to the now cleared area of Isle of Wight where there are no Triffids. In the meantime, Bill, Joe and Susan have been living their lives. Now, maybe the author didn't want to share about the day-to-day life stories that they were having, and instead jumped to a more exciting time. And you can do the same, miss out weeks or months or years. But what else you can do, and this is advice that is pertinent to week 3, or to writing full stop, is if you're writing a scene and are starting to struggle, you can leave it and jump to another part of your story. Now, if you've already planned your story, that's not going to be that hard. But if you're pantsing, you can still do it, even if you have no idea how your story will end or what's going to happen next. You can still jump to a bit. Just do it. Jump to an unknown part of your story and write. This will give you the space to think about your original scene, but it'll also give you focus of where the original scene needs to head towards, which means that when you go back to it, it won't be so hard to write. So it's week 3, and hopefully you are ahead. I'm not. I'm actually very behind for the first time ever since I started doing NaNoWriMo in 2008. And at the moment, I need to write over 2k a day. And that has a nice ring to it. So, try for that too. 2k a day. But whatever you do, do not stop writing. Do not give up. Because if you don't, then you'll get to 50k by the end of the month. You can do this.